All right, so today's video, we're watching a Diamond 1 support on PC playing Juno on King's Row. They say, the game started off quite well before our teammates began noticing that our Zen didn't have much healing and was leaving me to pick up the slack on the heals to the point where at the end of the first round, Zen still had less than 2,000 healing. He blamed the tank for playing too passively, but I saw him exploding. After that round, I asked him to swap and he didn't do so. So I didn't ask again and just tried to play my own game. I'm finding it difficult to survive hit scan picks and keeping my tank alive. I would like to know if there's any way I can survive a little bit more and still be aggressive. Any tips on my aim would be greatly appreciated. And I would like to know if my timings for my ult were correct because I think I'll hold on to it a little bit too long. By the way, the tank and the Zen made up after the game, and I believe that the Zen did way better in the last couple rounds of the game. Okay, so started off a little bit rough, but ended up being a strong finish. So good to see, good to see. All right, you have a Roadhog, classic. That's on your Zenyatta, by the way. There is a 0% chance that Zenyatta should be at statue that long into the team fight. So, Zenyatta in this situation, you have a safety net here. You can be here. You can be a little bit aggro here. I mean, heck, you could hide over here if you wanted to. But right here is just basically asking to fall over. So, yeah, that's a little bit too aggro there, at least in my opinion. That wasn't the lack of your tank being aggressive. Look at it that way. That was the Zen being too aggro. Remember to scan for your teammates. Okay. Aim's been fine so far. Okay. So far, so good. Good speed ring. Right clicking around the corner, being aggressive with your torpedoes. Good pull by their Orisa. Honestly, just a good ult. I mean, so far, everything's fine. His team got kind of backed away and lost the team fight. I wouldn't Juno ult this if you were wondering. Ultimate-wise, I mean, heal-wise here, I just want to point out, you're going to hear a lot about damage and all the things like that. And I hope this is helpful for players. Don't get me wrong. Listen, as you climb, damage is going to be important, right? But remember that in ranked, it's going to be kind of a game-by-game situation. So, like, if you get a game where your tank is just taking 1,000 damage and you have a Zenyatta, you're not going to be able to really do much damage. Does that make sense? So, like, it becomes tough to find that damage output in this situation. Do you get what I'm saying? Don't, like, force the damage if you can't maintain your team. Yeah. So far you're good. You want to play Mizuki this game? It wouldn't go well with Mizuki's end. That would go well against dive comps. At this point, by the way, if you feel like you can't disengage, just reset. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but that extra couple of seconds can kind of change, you know, where your retake happens. Okay, Juno ult now. Right here. Right now. Yep, you're good. No issues. Perfect. I don't see anything, not too bad there. Not a bait question, but wouldn't Mizuki be good with Anran? Are you saying, like, would Mizuki be good, like, with the current Anran? I'm more concerned about the sustainability of the team. Like, Brig Zen was already kind of a scary comp, even more so. Like, so in 6v6, Brig Zen used to be like a kind of a go-to back in the day. It's changed a little bit in Overwatch because of, like, the healing thing, like, where you kind of lose, like, the ability, like, you lose some of your healing based off of damage being done, etc. So, like, Mizuki Zen would be tough, in my opinion, at least, to make it work. Not that you can't make it work. It has to be in the right scenario, and I just don't know if the sustainability would be there. So, anyway, Red Bunny, thank you for the prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. What rank is this? Diamond. But hey, you never know. Maybe it does work. Nice. Thanks for the 5 months of that prime sub also. Thanks for beginning. Yeah, I mean, that spot right there is, just remember, track ultimates, you don't have to always know the percentage. Always just think about what they have. So when you're backing away there and they have all these available ultimates, you're kind of just putting yourself into a funnel. So you want to be a little bit careful there. So yeah. Aim-wise, your aim has been fine in my opinion. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're looking for like, you know, like OWCS win the grand finals aim, like, you know, there's all, you can always practice that. You know, that just comes with like practice. But this is what you have. One thing you're doing is you're overcommitting too much. So like, I want you to recognize the situation. You're retaking second point. You do not have to push into them there unless you're all together doing so. So play a little bit safer there. Again, probably wouldn't have made a difference. But I want you to think about like each corner you're taking. Right there, you don't need to go past all the way to the left side there near the stairs. You want to just maintain, play a little bit of like a safety net around the corner, use the cover, and then make a decision after that. Hogg's just going for flanks. Okay, I don't mind that aggressive play. A little bit aggressive. I mean, a little bit longer in the air is what I meant to say. Yep, heal your Zen. Your Hog has to fend for himself. Your Zen's just in the middle of the open. Gonna watch you here. Speed ring in. Go for obviously your aggressive right click. You want to play cover now. Do not peek them. Do not peek them. If you have someone behind you, you want to react to the Xion just as quick as you can. There it is. Good kill. Speed ring away if you need, or speed ring towards your teammates to help. Perfect. Not mad at that. That's kind of, your Hog was kind of like just heck there. You do not need to use your ultimate. You do not need to use your ultimate. You are clear on your ult. You're good. I mean, solid. You know, one suggestion is like, again, don't force the damage, like, and get yourself killed to a Cassidy, which didn't happen, by the way, but it could have happened. But I don't know. I feel like aim so far solid. A little bit of a note on Juno, and obviously there's going to be, it's going to be like, I don't know if people will agree or disagree, but I feel like if they start with low HP, it's really hard to get them back to full HP. So what I mean by that is like, you know, keeping your teammates kind of topped off more might benefit you more than like letting them get to like 20% HP and then try to catch up on heals. I don't know if people feel the same about Juno, but I've noticed that whenever I fall behind on heals on Juno, unless your teammates have pristine positioning, you are falling behind in those heals for a while. So something else to keep note of during that, with like, yeah, exactly. It's hard to like catch up on heals. So you want to kind of keep the sustain going. I'll check out the drops in a second, but something just to watch out for there. You definitely want to Juno ult this soon. Not yet though. Right now. Now. Perfect. You're good. Perfect. If you're wondering, chat, why I wanted that to be the timing, because you want them to be out of position. Remember, with Juno ultimate, it is a slow moving ultimate, so you want to be out of, you want to get them out of position, so that way that the disengage is tough. Perfect. That was great. No problems with the timing. No problem with how you reacted to that. Good play. Remember, chat, the engagement there with the Juno ultimate is when they're out of position, so that way they have no escape. And that's basically what happened. They're either forced into your team, or they split. That's what happened. All right, next up, your Zen has ult. You can play a little bit more aggressive here if you would like. Your Rein has a shield now, so with your Rein having shield, you can find more damage right now. To point this out, this is where you look for damage more. When Rein, yep, there it is, yeah. And obviously, you know, looking for damage is not challenging their high ground. Looking for damage is playing with your team in a safe spot. So you know that. You mentioned it earlier. That was going to happen. But just remember, now that you have a Rein, the way that you heal your teammate has changed. So like you don't have to. You have cover now. Utilize that cover from your Reinhardt. Utilize the angles your Reinhardt creates, and then you can be aggressive with your damage now, and you can do more damage because your Rein shield's there. See how that could change your gameplay just like that? How I talked about earlier. How like gameplay can shift based off of map to map. I can see that you're trying to figure out what your Zen's doing. All right, the window shot. All right, I know. I can take this. Speedring your team through the choke right now. Right here. Good enough for me. Could have put it a little bit closer to the choke for your teammates, but I still like your aggressive play there. That was honestly a good rock. I'll be honest with you. That was a good rock. I'm not really too concerned. I would have, like I said, putting your speed ring out more of the choke. So, your tip, go for it. Like I said, any feedback is always good. Let's see. watching. Remember, speed ring more towards the... I do want to point that out. I know I talk about speed rings, and sometimes just remember that, like, you want your teammate to be able to benefit. Like, so for example, if the speed ring goes, like, right here, see this right here? With, like, the speed ring, your Zenyatta will benefit from it that range. If it's over here, your Zenyatta needs to get to here for it to benefit him. So, like, getting, like, slower heroes across, having it go, like, right here will be beneficial. I know that you're probably thinking ahead, like, we get here, we benefit from it, but you also need to think about rotating your teammates over correctly. So I would go with a more safer kind of, like, here. That way it has a little bit of residual on both sides of that, okay? Very small change, but that can help with the choke. Oh, Zen's so fast? Oh, yeah, Zen's really quick. I know, you're right. Good backline pressure here. Don't be afraid to right-click. Perfect. The tip that someone gave was going for, like, high ground spots and then going for higher torpedoes. Yep, I do see a lot of Junos do that. See it more in 6v6 nowadays, because in 5v5 you can get one shot, but it does work in 5v5 very well, too. Just got to make sure you pay attention to the heroes. A little bit of a deep aggression by your team there, but I think you'll be fine. So, we'll see. Running through. Not bad. Cool. Do you like Cassie? Do you have any tips? She's got a lot of like playing corners, sticking with your team, you know, going for off angles when you need it, but a lot of it's hitting your shots. You know, make sure to have the correct perks, like Peacekeeper, not Peacekeeper, what's it called? Like I say Peacekeeper, Silver Bullet, that's a good perk to use. So, you're very indecisive against this Bob, I'm watching. It wasn't indecisive about the Bob, you just kept running away from your Zenyatta and then jumping in the air. That was just rough movement out of you. Just stick with your Zen, trust your teammate. Trust your teammate. Bob would have gone down there, but you also were jumping around. Again, you're going to hear me talk about, no, don't spam jump as much. You're going to watch me play, and you're going to think I have it set to a foot pedal or something, and that I'm just jumping up and down all the time. I've been trying to break that habit. It's been tough. But I can still give you the advice of not to spam your jump like that all the time. So, you know. So here we go. You don't need a Juno ult this in case you were wondering. You're fine. Your team already won the team fight. Good kills here. Remember, you know, going for damage area. If your hog is at full HP, you don't have to worry about anything like that. So, yeah, you spam jump. I know, me too. A lot of right-clicking going in. Yeah, I mean, I unless I zoned out there, which I could have, I didn't see anything too extravagant there. I don't see anything like crazy there. Am I wrong? Yeah, I think that was fine. But yeah, overall that was a good like attack. Let's see how your defense goes here. Again, like just to reiterate, I think you're doing a lot of good. I think again, someone made a suggestion of like, you know, finding like a little bit more high ground spots for your right clicks on Juno, which is good advice. And like understanding, like remember the little notes on speed ring. Like so far you're not, I don't think you're playing bad by any means. I think again, I want you to remember you don't need to force damage if your teammates are constantly taking damage, which was on the first part of defense. If that makes kind of sense as to what I'm saying. So like it's just remember, like it's good to do damage. Also recognize the situation that your teammates are going with. Wait for it. So in his top left, you know they're up there too, by the way. You heard them, so. Okay, yeah, you're doing it. Yep. This is what I was talking about. What was I saying? Do not force the damage, okay? Do the damage when it's advantageous. You're forcing it. Like right there, you're trying to find the right click. You see that? You're trying to find the right click. You're trying to force the right click. The right click will come to you. This is also why, you know, having the control up here, obviously the Reaper's up here, but like having control of high grounds can help with that, where you can kind of use your torpedoes aggressively later on. But like running up here to go for the torpedoes here is just asking to fall over, and that's what happens. So like right there, the only reason why you went down was because of you and because of you only. That was on you. I've seen you do it a couple of times. You're forcing those kills sometimes. The damage will come to you. Your team should have either A, went up and tried to trade kills or backed away. Good right click. Just to stop for a second here very quickly. So do you see what happened there, chat? You saw what happened? You came to the point and you right-clicked, not because you forced the right-click. You just right-clicked and then the kills and the damage came to you. See? That's what I was trying to like. And again, that's what you're going to do a lot more of with that hero is stuff like that. You can wait a second here, by the way. You have time. That was honestly, I think your Xion and you should have waited an extra second. I think you're fine there. So anyway, that was kind of like you were forced into that. Yep. Yeah. I mean, like I said, torpedoes is something I had to learn too. I mean, I get the luxury of playing against good Junos, but I get the luxury of kind of seeing what good Junos do a lot of the time, and a lot of the good Junos time their torpedoes when they're not going to get one shot in the middle of the air. Is basically what I'm saying. Your tank told you to touch point. In that situation, trust your call. All right? Because, like, your tank's not incorrect to tell you to touch the point. It just isn't the right timing. You have an extra tick, and, like, you needed to sustain temporarily, so I would have waited, like, an extra. Like, you don't need to. My take is if you lose to 60%, then you were going to lose that game anyway, right? 60% on, like, a tick. This is your teammates forcing too many issues here. So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it sounds like there was just a miscommunication there. Tank told the players to go in. If you don't scan behind you to see where your tank's at, then you might think your tank's right around the corner. I'm assuming the tank wasn't, and just told people to touch the point. So, yeah. Okay, stop for a second. Stop for 1 second. 1 second. Just stop. Now out. Yes, there you go. I'm just glad you did that. Okay, so I want to point out to you, just talking about where you didn't force the damage here. You're Juno ulting in with the Roadhog ultimate, and then you're getting aggressive with torpedoes. This isn't forcing the play. This is making a play with your ultimate. Do you see the difference there between wide swinging on statue and dying to a Cassidy and like whoever else shot at you, or I think it was like an Orisa, or wide swinging out with a Juno ultimate and a Roadhog ultimate to go with it to find the value that you need to find? Do you see what I'm saying here now? All right, let's go back to this. Head to bed. Have a good night. I mean, yeah, you going down there is fine. I mean, this is just a team fight. Team does well, you hold. Good job. Ultimates have been fine. Every ultimate has been pretty good. You know, obviously a time in here, a time in there, but like that's nothing. That's just gonna be, you know, luck of the time and things like that, right? All right, let's see how the rest of your game goes here. All right, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I kind of am curious here from Juno players in general. Is it wrong of me to suggest to torpedo your teammates when they're low at the statue so that way they can keep the map control going? Because it feels like you want to get the damage with your torpedoes on the enemy, so you're so hyper-focused on finding that timing rather than you are of just sustaining your teammates. Because when you would have torpedoed that, you would have been like probably 3 seconds away from your next torpedoes. Your teammates have more map control at that point, and then you have more of a wide swing, right? Because of the perk. Is that the one that gives you your cooldown back? But like even then, like, yeah, I'm saying when they were here, like torpedo your teammates, and then your next torpedo will be at this angle. Because then like you can go up here and then maintain this part, right? So you would have, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So you would torpedo the teammates here, right? To keep them sustained, which then gives them more opportunity to push across. And then when you come to your next cooldown, which would be in about 3 seconds from where it's at now, right now it's at obviously 8 seconds because you just used it. And then you could go around this way and then still benefit from it. So like basically it's don't let the perk fully change your playstyle. Still utilize it in a way that would be kind of ideal. Again, this is a small note, but you did want help in a lot of areas. And I'm just noticing like you wanted to be more self-sustaining there with your teammates. But like remember when you fall behind on heals, that's what happens. And then when you would actually want this like corner swing like torpedo, you're not in range to do that. So anyway, hope that makes sense. I mean, maybe what I'm saying is you have a couple times where I think you're so damage focused with your torpedo. The torpedo cooldown thing is good if it hits enemies, right? But in my opinion, if you have to go out of your way to get the value of that torpedo and take a lot of damage or not heal your teammates or keep them self-sustained a little bit longer, that's the problem. So like you don't want to like just completely be like, oh, I cannot torpedo my teammates now because I will not get a cooldown back. What if you just don't have your major perk, right? Let's pretend you don't have a major perk you're still going to do that, right? You know what I'm saying? So even though the perk is really good, right? Like the cooldown reduction is there and you want to utilize it when it's in front of you, don't change your whole playstyle up just because you now go, oh, well, if I don't hit a torpedo on an enemy, well, that's a waste. Because I still feel like you would have your torpedoes now, you'd have a much better wide swing, and then this is a way different team fight. Again, can't promise that's how that would go, but do you see what I'm saying? So it's there as like a good addition to your torpedoes, but remember, it's hard to catch up on heals on Juno, so sustaining your teammates higher can lead to more. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, it's okay to torpedo your teammates even if you don't have the torpedo perk, is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying make it a habit of always torpedoing your teammates. It's just understanding when your rotation will happen, right? Like, the way I look at it, you keep your teammates sustained at statue, then when you rotate to the right of statue, your next torpedo is on the enemies and your teammates, and then you do a bunch of damage, you get your stuff back, and then you're kind of in that torpedo rotation, right? So, I'll double check for you. Last time I checked, they were. But I'll check again, okay? Let me just finish this here. I got you. Okay, cool. Good job. Still think you waited a little bit long there, but, you know. I'm also uptime potential person where, like, I look at uptime and I'm like, oh, man, there was one extra Juno torpedo you could have had in there before that. So, yes, exactly, if they get super low. And again, there's a lot of, like, nuance, I guess, is that the word to describe it here, between, like, your torpedo decision, but it's more getting you out of the mindset if you could only use torpedoes this way, right? Like, I want to get you out of the habit of, I have to use it this way because I have this perk. I want it to be, it's nice to have this perk. If you're wondering, should you have Juno ulted this? The answer is no. I'll explain why in a minute. If you were far up next to your teammate, the answer is yes. If you're far back, the answer is no. And you were far back. Hope that helps your decision there. You made the right choice. Because otherwise, you're just going to fall behind there. Yeah, Aspen does a good job of that in 66. Yeah, Aspen's very good at torpedo timing. I will tell you that. She does a really good job at that. That's something that whenever I play against her, she's really good at finding that timing. But she does it like... Whenever I play against her, she doesn't do it like just in the middle of like the team. She does it when she's already set up for like high ground torpedoes and then finds the value and knows she's going to escape out. It's very, very good position. If that makes sense. Good job. Juno ultimate's fine there. You're at the corner. Yep, exactly. Set someone cover in the air. Exactly. Which is, you can be more aggressive when you're positioned and set up for that. So yeah, I mean, obviously your teammates came together and won this. And I think obviously, you know, your teammate going Ryan definitely kind of turned the tide there for your team. But like overall, like your aim to me is fine. Again, listen, just to summarize, speed rings, a little bit more like for your non-mobile heroes, make sure they're being in spots where your teammates can benefit. The Zenyatta at the choke. That's step number one, okay? Number two, stop forcing the torpedoes. They will come to you. If you really want to be aggressive with torpedoes, you have to set up on high grounds and kind of like pre-aim them and get them ready to go. Don't be afraid to use those torpedoes to keep your teammates alive. You start doing that stuff, you're going to be good. Again, back to your aim. When it comes to your aim seems fine, and I think you're going to do better. You know, that just comes with time if you want to, you know, find your sensitivity a little bit. But nothing I saw that was like egregious to like, oh, switch up your aim. Your aim was fine. But I think like if you do less of forcing the issue and more of finding the damage coming to you, you're going to be in a good spot. To your question, can you get into Masters? Yeah. I don't see why not. There was nothing you did there that was necessarily bad. Right now, it's about fine-tuning your gameplay. I didn't think you did anything that made me felt like, oh, this player's feeding. Oh, this player's indecisive. It was never really that. It just felt like you almost had a gameplay loop of I have to do this, and I'm going to break you out of that gameplay loop of adjust in real time. Do that, you'll be good to go. And if you can fix that, I think you'll climb. And if your goal is Masters, I think you can get Masters. Like I said, I didn't see a lot there that made me think that you did anything, you know, just bad. So you played that well. That's that. So hope you liked the video. Make sure to like the video. If you haven't, leave a comment, subscribe, all that helps. If you want to submit your own Spectating, my Discord is where to do that. And if you want to watch more of these, we have a ton of these. There's going to be a video here in the bottom left. I think it's bottom left. I say that all the time. I have no clue. Either way, with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day/night.